spend the money and the commitment and the time and the effort to do what I did.
So passion, you said projects, profession, and the path.
About microbit technology, and that got me excited.
How do you plan to continue growing your impact in Ellis County?
Thank you. Well, I am 66, and I'm at 66 and 8 months, which will be December this year. I'm retiring with Social Security.
Hello, everyone. This is Nishant, founder and franchise consultant at Franchise to World, and welcome to my podcast, Franchise Forward. Well, Franchise Forward is my way of providing insights, strategies, success stories that inspire and guide the aspiring franchisee owners through engagements with successful franchisees, franchisors, and all the industry experts out there. Well, keeping up with this tradition, today we have a very special guest who embodies the spirit of passion, perseverance, and the transformative power of education. Well, her name is Irene Bounced. Well, Irene is the proud owner of Bricks for Kids franchise in Ellis County, Texas. With a deep commitment to making a difference in the lives of children, Irene's journey with Bricks for Kids started as a mission to bring hands-on learning and creativity to young minds through Lego-based educational programs, inspiring children towards STEM or STEAM. Well, she is 66 and her story is one of dedication. From the moment she took on this franchise to the remarkable success she has built in her community. Irene's work isn't just about running a business. It's about fostering growth, imagination, and excitement in kids, and hopefully inspiring some of these kids to STEM or STEAM career pathway early in life. Well, we're excited to dive into her journey, hear about her challenges, successes, and insights as a franchise owner. Well, please join me in welcoming Irene Bounced. Well, thank you so much, Irene, for joining today. And our viewers are equally excited to understand, to know about your journey, Irene.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I'm excited to tell you about myself and the franchise and what God is doing through this franchise. So thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you again. So you had a long, successful journey with Bricks for Kids. What was it that first inspired you to start a franchise in Ellis County? And was there a defining moment when you knew this was the right path for you?
Well, let's see. It didn't start out with me seeking to be a franchise owner. It didn't start like that. My husband was laid off, from his job. So his company gave like a post consultation, to those people that have been laid off. So they encouraged us, because we were older. We were in our 50s at that point. And they encouraged us to use our 401ks and to buy franchise. They actually encouraged us to do that. They didn't say start a business. They said buy franchise.
Yes.
So we just pursued that. And then it was more me interested in doing it than my husband. And I used my 401k money. I found Bricks for Kids in the midst of all my research. And that was the one that jumped out at me because it, as I tell you more of my background, I know one of the questions are more about my background, and you'll see how it fits so beautifully on that path that God put me on. So the defining moment was when that opportunity arose. I have a relationship with God through Jesus, and yes. I read the Bible, and God speaks to me through his word. So I will say that I've known him since 1984, and over the years, he speaks to me. He just does. So I will say with the major life decisions that I've made in my entire life, over 40 years since I met the Lord, this was the one that I received the most Bible verses from. And that is remarkable because I've made huge changes in my life with one Bible verse. This one, I could count 10, 20. It just confirmed confirmation that I was on the right path. So I knew this was something God is calling me to. And it just took that kind of faith to take that leap to spend the money and the commitment and the time and the effort to do what I did.
Well, I can say I already have goosebumps. Oh, well,
Thank you.
well, Irene, your story mentions a deep passion, like you just explained, for working, and especially for kids and education. And can you tell us more about how your background and experience led you to the Bricks for Kids model, and how does this franchise align with your personal mission?
Excellent. It's, you start as a child, you grow up and my parents owned the A&W Drive-In franchise in Pampa, Texas. We moved there in 1965. I was like second grade. I worked with my parents, particularly my dad, in the front of the A&W Drive-In. I just was inspired by him. I mean, really, he had such energy, such passion, for the customer. And I saw him, and he was older when he did this. It wasn't like he was a youthful man when he bought that A&W. I mean, he did have other businesses, but I would say that the A&W Drive-In really inspired him to just go over and above. So I just saw him, his work ethic, how hard he worked. He did it himself. I mean, yes, he hired people, he would train them and off they would go. So he would just like, no, I'm just going to go do it. So he's out there car hopping. He's out there sweeping, literally sweeping the parking lot to make it look good. Yeah. And he worked, and my mom worked in the back cooking. And then just, how can I say it? I think for me, working hard, doing it yourself, giving it your all, doing your very best. It was a strong work ethic that I learned and was inspired by him. He never quit. And so then, my life continued. And yes, I pursued music. That was what I loved. I loved to sing. I thought that was the direction, the path that I was to go in. Well, it was great through college. And then I hit my student teaching. Oh. And then I hated it. It's like I'm crying every day. I'm like, the children, if either they didn't respect me, they weren't interested or whatever. And it just, like deflated my balloon. So, but then that was 1980. So I did graduate with music education, magna cum laude. I worked hard. I did my best, but I did not want to do that for a living. So then there were people in my choir, my church choir. I didn't know the Lord back then. I went to church, but I didn't have a personal relationship with God through Jesus. I will tell you that. It was just, going through the motions or whatever it was. But they recommended that music majors do really well in computer science. And I'm like, that's crazy. You're talking music, art, you just don't think the two relate. So, but, I went to see a counselor in college. Okay. They sat me down at this counselor, and he just opened up back then the old-fashioned newspapers, and they just page after page after page of computer science jobs. And this was at North Texas State University, which is now the University of North Texas, but back then it was called NTSU. So NTSU. So they saw the need for computer programmers. Sure. And so they had accelerated programs where you could take college classes, if you already have a degree, which I did, and you could just take another year of college classes and get an equivalent degree of computer science. So that's the program I got in. 1 year later, I was lacking one course, but it's like, no, I'm ready to work. I'm just ready to get out there and start working. So I had friends, again, I think through the choir, they told me about ARCO oil and gas, and they told me they love music majors. And if you've got, all that education, they'll hire you. And they did. They hired me, trained me. I worked for ARCO oil and gas for like 5 years. I transferred to Denver, Colorado. And so I loved computer programming. Really, it was like, you're going to pay me to do this? I'm like, I will just say back then, as a music major, if I went to teach music, I would earn, I think it was, what was it? It was some $9,000. That's what it was. $9,000 a year. Okay.
A year. Okay.
A year. And then, but after my computer science, I started at 18,000 so, a year. And it only went up from there because it's just such a great, that's what I love about STEM. You can have fun, you can love it, you can enjoy it, you get paid for what you're doing and paid well. So then my life continues. And then I met my husband in Colorado, and then we got married, and then we had 2 sons, and I stayed home and I homeschooled the boys. And then we moved to Texas, and then part of their homeschooling education was 4-H. 4-H is an amazing organization. Highly recommend it. It's head, heart, hands, and health. That's the 4-H's. It's for youth development. Perfect for my homeschooling. And I started a club. It was the All for Him 4-H club. And I ran that for 5 years. And during that time, I learned, discovered, had my eyes open to the 3Ps. I call them the 3Ps because in 4-H, children work on projects, but they choose their projects. Yes, you think of cows, you think of, agriculture or that, but yet it's more than that. It's all kinds of projects. So I saw the STEM project or any of those projects, but I just saw a correlation between what the kids choose, their passion, P, P, project, and 3P, profession, that it could lead. If their passion, you can work on the projects you like. Well, that project could lead to a profession. And I even spoke at 4-H conferences as a volunteer to parents, encouraging them about this. It just seemed obvious to me. So then my husband got laid off. So then, and the kids were older, and that's when Bricks for Kidz came into my life in 2016. So it's this path. It's like, did I choose this path? God made the path. So there you go. Sorry.
I have the 4th P. So passion, you said projects, profession, and the path. So 4 P's.
Thank you. Love it. Love it.
So, and I can tell you, your father has definitely passed on that passion to you. So that's my point. So, starting a franchise also comes with its own set of challenges. Can you share some of the early struggles you faced when setting up Brick for Kidz franchise and how you overcame them?
Money. I was going to say it's totally money. That 401k is a huge blessing. Yes, I thought I took out enough that first year. You have to pay for the franchise, but then with Bricks for Kidz and probably any franchise, you have to buy the equipment or building or whatever it is. For me, it's mobile. Bricks for Kidz is mobile. So it was just the equipment of what the kids would be building, their Lego models, and I have to buy all the Legos and organize it all. And they gave me all the training that I needed. And they showed me what I need to do to hire teachers right away. And I did everything. I tried to do everything my franchisor told me to do because I wanted to be successful. They've been there, done that, and I can just, listen to what they're saying and just follow that model and I'll be successful too. So that was what I did. So, but then I saw the money and I can get nervous about money. So I don't want to be stressed about that. I just want to focus on do what?
So I'm saying it's human to get nervous about that.
It would be easy to get nervous about it and people get stressed about it. And that was something I did not want to do. So I just pulled out more money the next year. It was a C Corp. I think in order to take out the money, maybe it had to be a C Corp, but it was a C Corp. So I took it out again the next year. So that helped. So then I put always 10,000 into savings. So that way there's always that little for rainy day. Yeah. I honestly, I've not really accessed that money, but it does give peace and comfort knowing that savings is there should I need it. So, So that was it. And then what else did I answer the question?
Yes, you did. In fact, I would say, people who are watching this program, this podcast and videocast who will be following these answers from you, it's actually a learning. I mean, what you said exactly, that's what we tell. That's what I tell as a franchise consultant myself, that, you don't have to build something from ground up when you own a franchise. And what you got to do is just follow the procedures, follow the standard operating procedures, follow the instructions, take the trainings by heart, and then chances of success are obviously higher in a franchise business. So, this takes me to the connected question. You have built a strong community presence in Bricks for Kidz in Ellis County, as we know. Now, what strategies have you used to engage parents, schools, and how have you maintained that over the years?
So, my dad, I would hear him talk about the chamber and how involved he was in the chamber in Pampa. So I would highly recommend anybody out there to get involved in your local chamber organization. They are there also to help you to be successful. The franchisor definitely, they're focused on the franchise, Bricks for Kids, and how to do it and all that. But the local, they're there to support you and help you advertise, give you training, help you to network, get that network working. And that is very important. I guess network working. Yeah. Okay. It makes sense. Network working. Yeah. Because it's relationships. And I remember somebody in one of the chamber, they would say, you don't buy people, customers. People don't buy from businesses. They buy from people. They buy from people. Yes. It's the idea of meeting people. So then I would say the chamber for sure. I actually won the newcomer of the year that year, 2016 in Waxahachie Chamber, which I'm thankful for. Oh, goodness. Everything fell apart, but here you go. See, Waxahachie. Okay, there you go. There you go. There, Bricks for Kids. You see that? There you go.
Yes, I can. So thank you so much for showing that.
Sorry, but no, it's just the idea of you need to get with people, get with the chambers. But then I would also say trade shows. Okay, so not only you need to network with other business leaders, you need to make relationships with parents and their children. So trade shows was another big thing. Again, that money is important to have because I bought a really nice tent and then a really nice wall that has Bricks for Kids all over it. And I have tables and I would just, I would set up these. I did it. My husband helped me set these things up and I could not have done it without his help. I'm so very thankful for him. Sure. But he helped me set it up and I would do it and meet parents, talk to parents. The kids would go crazy about the parents would see the kids go crazy about it. And then they would want to sign up their kids in my summer camps. So it's just the idea of meeting people. So that's it. And then you start, what you do, you collect email addresses at these trade shows. And there's fancier way of doing it back when, where I used to have them write down their email on a notepad, but then I had to decipher their writing and get it into my database. And of course, I can't decipher. I would take pictures, zooming up, try to do that. So yeah, there's fancy ways to do it now. They use their phones and just get those email addresses. So that way you can communicate. I don't like to spam them, but I do try to communicate often to let them know what's going on with Bricks for Kids, and they can always unsubscribe if they want to. Yes, so that's important. Email. So then I will say another franchisee in the area, I asked her, what's your best thing to advertise? And she said, put a vehicle wrap around your car. And oh my goodness, I did that early on. Highly recommend doing that because wherever you drive, they see your brand. They see, your website. I have my website, maybe my phone number's out there too. And, you just have to be a good driver and not get in trouble with anybody, which I did get a phone call once. I will be honest about it. And I put it on Facebook just because it was good. They told me your vehicle, one of your vans, I only have one, but one of your vans, are going too fast. So I slowed down and I didn't see the sign. But back to Brickmobile, the emails, social media, definitely social media. So Facebook. Okay. Now it's Facebook and Instagram that makes it easy, and then Twitter, X. I do those. I haven't done TikTok yet. I know I need to probably move that way, but I haven't done that yet. But Facebook ads, posting regularly is important. I'm trying to think what else. But then I learned from somebody, why not go the old-fashioned way too? So I printed flyers. And I go to businesses in the spring before my summer camps, and I just ask the managers. Every year, I ask them. I keep a database of who say yes, what businesses say yes, what businesses say no. But to post my summer camp schedule on their window, so I do that every year. So that's old school, but people are visual. It works. It still works. It still works. Yeah. So that, and then let's see, as far as so I do private schools. Because the public schools I had a bad experience with. So I'll be honest with that too. I haven't been able to get into the public schools. Maybe that's for the future when I'm a little braver, maybe older. I need to be older to be braver. So I'll try that again. But then I do, connect with churches in all the major cities in Ellis County. And I do summer camps in each of those locations. So, I did get business coaches. I will highly recommend if you're new, is that your franchisee? I would look into business coaching because I had that from years 2 to 4 until they went out of business in COVID, which is sad. But during those 2 years, I went to so many seminars. They encouraged me. They built me up. They taught me more about finances, helping me in my weak areas. I have weak areas. I do. Finances are totally my weakest area. But I mean, I do my bookkeeping. I do so many things, but I've learned a lot. So coaching is another business coaching is another good thing. So, and I'm still in touch with, I still try to do as many trade shows as I can, parades, what is the last thing I did? Trunk Palooza, where you decorate your trunk and then kids come by and you give them candy. So there's so many different things. Talk to your chambers and they will give you ideas also to get involved. Ribbon cuttings, of course, and grand openings. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it.
Well, all I can say is it's this video cast is actually turning up to be a learning experience for me. I mean, all these things that you said, the kind of social media that you've been using, the old school activities that you're using. This is like a reiteration of the fact that what it takes to be a successful franchisee, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, can I say one more thing? This was early on. Yep. It might have been even when we were looking at franchise, they said, whenever you're out, wear your t-shirts, wear these kind of shirts, polo shirts, wear anything, get your brand seen. You got to get your brand seen. And the brand is that they would get to know you, build your reputation in the community. And they do. I mean, people talk about my brickmobile. I mean, they just do. So
yeah.
It's good.
So your franchise focuses on providing hands-on STEM learning experience for children. Are there any memorable success stories or moments where you saw direct impact of your work on a child's development?
Well, I've been doing this now for almost 9 years. So yes, these children grow up. So I run into them out there in the community, maybe grocery shopping, maybe eating out at a restaurant or wherever it may be. It was even last Saturday, you run into these children. Well, last Saturday I did that Trunk Palooza, and the tent next to my car, that man goes, I don't know if you remember me, but my son was in your Bricks for Kids. And I said, well, what was his name? I'll see if I can remember. And then he said the name. I'm like, oh yes. I did a birthday party for him. He went to so many of my kids' nights out. He came to so many of my summer camps. I'm like, well, how is he? What grade is he in? 7th grade. And I asked, well, what's his path? What path? And the dad is saying mechanical engineering. So that is what gives me joy. It inspires me. I'm making a difference. I'm making an impact. I want to keep going. Yeah. It takes years. I mean, anybody, you have to realize it. I heard this too. I hate to break the news. Maybe you've heard it, but you need to be in business at least 5 years. It's really, it's gonna be a struggle until after that, like 4 or 5 years, somewhere in there. That's when it starts getting easier and better, because now people start reaching out to me. Hey, would you come do an in-school workshop? Would you come, do my child's birthday party? Whatever it is. It's time. It's word of mouth. Yes, social media, but it is word of mouth, and your reputation grows over time. So.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, when you start something, so there's a lot of hard work, perseverance that's required. But then, as you said, now, and maybe after the first few years, it kind of goes into the auto mode, wherein, people know you, they come to you, and then, you provide your services, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, being a franchise means balancing a proven business model with injecting your own personality and creativity. What do you think sets your franchise apart in that sense?
Well, like I said, I try to follow my franchisor exactly, but I will be honest too, during the training, it was paper. I was building, of course, you have to be able to build these models. So they gave the model and they gave the paper instructions. Well, because I'm STEM, I'm a computer programmer, No, thank you. That is too old school for me. And so what I did instead is right away with the money from my 401k, and I knew I needed to equip at least not children, four teachers. I just bought tons of equipment, and I went to my local Best Buy. And I talked to the manager and I said, I need to buy a lot of equipment. What kind of deal could you make with me? And he did. He gave me amazing deals of Amazon Kindles. So I bought, I do not know how many, and loaded the model plans onto these Kindles. They're working beautifully. When I need more Kindles, I go back to find the 2016. It's Generation 5 Kindles on eBay. I just go to eBay because that's what I'm used to and I love it, and they work great. So I would say that set me apart in the very beginning, that I wanted more STEM and I didn't want paper models. That's just crazy. And paper model plans.
So I have another thing in mind. Obviously, we went through a difficult phase of COVID-19. COVID-19 affected a lot of businesses, especially education, because most of these classes were transitioned to online. So how did you pivot your approach during the pandemic to keep your franchise running? And sort of what lessons did you learn from that experience of COVID-19?
Okay. Well, my franchisor was quick to reach out to us and give ideas to help, to support, and to help the business. So I listened to what they said. I got excited, actually, because I'm a computer programmer at heart. So this is an opportunity. So they recommended teaching virtual classes, which I did. So I taught myself Scratch. They gave recommendations. I followed those recommendations. I built, I just went and just took off and did my own PowerPoints. That was another thing I forgot to mention earlier, that, I like to do PowerPoints. I create my own PowerPoints, and I like to teach children how to build with Bricks for Kids. So that's another thing that set me apart. I forgot to mention that. So back to the COVID time. So yes, virtual classes. I taught Scratch programming to children, and there's a lot of kids that I used to see hands-on engineering types. Now they've gotten into the programming, and so some of those have hopefully they're, I'll see them out there. I can picture some of those kids right now in my mind when I'm talking to you, that I wonder if they're going to be, programmers in the future, developers. I think that's the new name. But yet in Texas, that's where I'm at. In Texas, they did allow people to get together in small groups. So I just read all that information and what would they allow me to do? And my location still allowed me to meet. These churches allowed me to go in, and I would teach very small camps. I didn't want my company to die. So I just have to still work hard, do what I'm able to do, not give up, persevere, stay committed. And I did. So then I would teach the children, only like 4 children. So it was only 5 of us, but I would just teach 4. We wore masks. We sat 6 feet apart. We did everything we're supposed to do, but I still ran the camps, and the kids still had fun. If they knew each other, some families did it, and they could sit closer together. But yeah, so that's what you do. You just kind of be flexible and adapt and figure out, how to make things work during a very difficult time. So
yes,
yeah.
So are there any initiatives or future plans that you're excited about at Bricks for Kids?
And I will tell you that, but I also have to tell you that another lesson learned that year was, remember how I said my dad would do things himself? He would car hop, he would do all that. Well, I had all these teachers, and I was paying them, and I wasn't getting a salary. I wasn't getting any. I really wasn't gaining anything during that time. So I ended up doing it myself. So that was a big, big thing. So the lesson learned there was, and I've been mainly doing it myself since that would have been year 4 of my company. I'm now, officially 8. I'll be 9 here in January. And so I've been mainly doing it myself. Only recently hired another teacher because I couldn't be in 2 places at the same time. Sure, that's where a lot of more the income started to go up with my company, to where I'm definitely profitable and the cash flow is good. And so, yeah. So now for the plans for the future, that's what you were asking me about, was the plans for the future. So I didn't mention, I went to the conferences. I recommend going to franchisee conferences so that you network with franchisees around the world, because this is a global franchise. So we met in San Jose and then 2 years ago, and then Las Vegas last year. I don't know where they're going to go next year, but in there. So you hear about innovative things that are coming down the road. So I heard about concept education. That I got excited about that. That is another partner, Bricks for Kidz, got on board. I'm selling that. Okay. Then they talked about microbit technology, and that got me excited. And so robotics. So I'm actually doing robotics camp with the microbits, but I developed. They gave me PowerPoints, but I'm altering them to make them, in my mind, better. So that's me. And then what else? So that's all the future for Bricks for Kidz. And then now it's coming down the road is also BrickBit. So that's exciting. So that's going to be microbit technology, but Bricks for Kidz is patented. Patented. Yeah. So that's exciting. So I'm trying to keep up with the franchisor. I don't do everything they say. I mean, because it is your business, it is your franchise, and it needs to fit your personality and your finances. So I have to watch what they're asking me to do and weigh, well, how much is it going to cost me and what's it going to do to my business now? So there's a lot to consider, and you have to make those kinds of decisions. But those are the kinds of decisions that I've been making. Did I answer your question?
Perfect. Bang on.
Okay.
And this takes me to a very important follow-up question. I mean, what piece of advice would you like to give to someone who's considering, getting into a Bricks for Kidz franchise or general? I mean, if somebody wants to get into a franchise business, any 3 piece of advice or whatever advice you would like to give?
Well, I would say don't think of the franchisor as your enemy. I mean, yes, you pay them money and yes, you've got to make money right away as best as you can, but they are your friend. They are your support. You go to them for help, for advice. I remember one time I thought about, buying like a creativity center. There are franchisees out there that have those in big cities. I'm not in a big city. But my franchisor recommended not, and I listened, and I didn't go that way. So it's good to ask for advice from your franchisor. So definitely, whatever franchise you buy, talk to your franchisor. I don't think it's a requirement you do everything, but some things in your contract you need to do, and so do them. Listen, they're your friend. They're your friend. For Bricks for Kidz, though, I would recommend. They did recommend me, right away hiring teachers. And now I kind of wish I didn't go so quickly in that way. I wish I had done it myself first. Then I would understand what I'm looking for in a teacher. I would know better how to equip them. Because again, yes, you got the training, but you don't know how it's going to fit with you and your personality and so forth. So I totally, if you're going to buy Bricks for Kidz, teach first. Then when you got that under your belt, you know what they need, how you want them to do it, then you can train the new teachers to do what you're doing. So
I would count this advice as bang on. First you got to get your own hands dirty. You got to involve yourself into the business. So the nitty-gritties. I mean, what works and what doesn't. And then you kind of get into your team and then so on and so forth. And you grow yourself as a business. Well, thank you. Looking forward to what your goals for the future for Bricks for Kidz franchise, and how do you plan to continue growing your impact in Ellis County?
Thank you. Well, I am 66 and I'm at 66 and 8 months, which will be December this year. I'm retiring with Social Security. I'm going to get full age retirements. I'm thrilled about that. So, but I love Bricks for Kidz and I don't want to stop working. So what's happening? Because I've been close with my franchisor, and I just approach them, ask the question. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? And I asked the question, would you be interested in buying my franchise and make it a corporate office? They have corporate offices. I think a lot have do that, but Bricks for Kidz does. Okay. So they said, well, right now they're saying yes. So it's not official yet. It's going that direction. I mean, there was really positive things said that it could even happen before Thanksgiving. possibly. So, but they want me to manage it. And I'm like, wow, how cool is that? And they in the contract, they're saying at least a year, of course, to hand it over to someone else, at least a year. But I mean, they're saying we'd love for you to stay on for like 10 years or so. So I'm like, it's exciting to think I don't have to stop. Yes, retirement can be over anticipated or whatever that word is, but to keep working is exciting, and you keep being with people. I remember I talked to one woman. She goes, "It gives you a reason to get up in the morning."
Yes,
I like that, and to get dressed, and to be at. And I know my dad worked and worked and worked. I mean, he just worked. So I saw that example too. So yeah, for me, I want to keep working. So I'm excited about the future like that. That I'll be, maybe I can't, I mean, I love children and I think I'll always see these children, but maybe I can go back to being more of a manager. Maybe I can start hiring more teachers to make a greater impact in Ellis County, to reach more children by hiring more teachers. It's like, I can only reach so many, but with 4 teachers or 3 teachers or something, we can reach so many more. So yeah, so I think it's going to be more of an impact in Ellis County by me being more of a manager and training more teachers. So,
well, I have 3 words to end this conversation, and that's inspiring, inspiring, inspiring. So thank you so much, Irene, for sharing your journey and being with me today, and sharing your learnings, your experiences with our viewers.
Thank you for having me, and it's been enjoyable, and I hope it does help somebody out there. So God bless you in your journey, in your pathway.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much, Irene, for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us today. Your story, let me tell you, is truly inspiring and offers valuable lessons for anyone looking to venture into a franchise world, or specifically into a Bricks for Kids franchise. Well, to my listeners, I hope you found this episode of Franchise Forward both informative and motivating. If you have any questions or you want to learn more about franchise opportunities, please visit our website, franchise2world.com. Well, stay tuned for more episodes featuring industry experts and successful franchisees. Until next time, keep pushing forward with your franchise ownership dreams.